Good morning, HR superstars. It's your girl, Hennither Bianca Gant, here with Career Image Solutions. Super excited about today's topic because this is something that I know that I am truly anointed with. And that thing that I am anointed with is accountability. I'm a great accountability partner. I just know that without a shadow of a doubt. That's just what I know. That's just one of my you ever heard someone say, put me in, coach? You tell me that if you know me personally, you know this to be true. If you ever tell me that you want to do something, oh, you better believe I'm going to remember that you said you want to do that thing and we're going to get that thing done. Right. So anywho, if this is your first time watching me, I am Hennither Bianca Gant. And one of the things that I love to do, which I'll be talking about today, is that I use my years of experience in human resources. And I also help and coach other people who desire to have HR companies to do what I have been able to do within the last 7 years. So I started out working in human resources full time. I was a single mom and made a decision that I wanted to start an HR company, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I fumbled along the way and still making mistakes as I go along. But it's fast forward, I was able to walk away from my federal government job in HR, and now I am in full-time business with my HR company, and now we have a team. There's about 4 of us now. We're looking to expand to about 5. So really excited about what God is doing with us. But nevertheless, today's video is strictly for those of you. Listen, if you're watching this now, I'm recording this December 2019. So we are getting ready for a new decade, people, a new decade. So what that essentially means is that for some of you that are watching this, you will be, by the time this decade finishes, is complete by the time the 2020 decade is complete, it will be 2030, right? So 10 years a decade. I'm not trying to belittle you, I'm just saying. So that means for some of you, you all will now be senior citizens. For some of you watching this, you all will technically be middle age, right? Technically, for some of you, could you imagine the types of things that will happen in your life in the next 10 years? Think about your last 10 years of your life. So the reason why I'm saying this is because the reality is that things are going to happen. So we can no longer use the same excuses that we've used over the last 10 years, over the last year, over the last 6 months. If God told you to do something, that means you are equipped. You have the capacity to complete it. You have the capacity to fulfill it. So as it relates to your HR company, I'm strictly talking to those who have been called to it, right? I know that I am called to those who have integrity. I'm called to those who love HR. I'm called to HR professionals that I love the industry. I just don't want to do it for someone else anymore. I want to be able to figure out how to do it on my own. I figured out a way. And I'm telling you, I'm able to teach you. But the reality is that there are some things you might not need me. There are some things that you're able to do on your own. And because you're able to do on your own, why haven't you done it yet? What is stopping you? If you have not watched my video on how much it really costs to start an HR consulting company, make sure you're going to watch it because it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Listen, I had a office space. And if you're in the Maryland area, if you're familiar with Towson, so I had an office space in Towson, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm using all these excuses. Right? I was like, well, I can't start because I don't have an office space, and people won't take me seriously, this and the other. And the reality is, do you not know that we rented out this office space? And I'm saying we because I have the awesome privilege of operating our company with my husband. And we got this office space in Towson, Maryland. You all know Towson is not the cheapest, okay? And but we did really get a good deal though. Just saying, that's a little side note. If you are an HR professional looking for office space, I have some awesome tips on how you can do that, how you can kind of leverage what you got. So we got this office space in Towson. And do you not know, we probably had all but 2 customers coming to our office because most people wanted to meet at a Panera. They wanted to meet at their office. So it's like, what am I paying all this overhead for? So again, that was another reason why I delayed even starting. It was like, oh, I have to have this office space. Finally got the office space and it wasn't nobody even coming. So, what is stopping you? What is stopping you? Is it like, oh my gosh, I don't, I don't know how to get started? Well, we'll get to that in a second. If you really just don't know how to get started, then just hold tight until the end of this video, and I'll share that with you. But if you know how to get started, if you know what to do, like, what is stopping you? There there is there is enough out here for everyone to eat, which is why I had a HR consulting, HR biz strategy session with someone, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're giving away all this information to me. I mean, she paid for it, so I do charge for strategy sessions, just so you know, right? Because a lot of people were just picking my brain for free, and then just wasn't following up. And I'm really passionate about this stuff. So, nevertheless, she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, you just gave me my whole, like, what I needed to do." She's like, "Aren't you afraid of, like, me being your competition?" I was like, "No, not at all. There's enough out here for everybody to eat." My biggest thing is, if you are called to do it, listen, I can't stop you. Only you can stop you. But there's a lot of people that get started for different reasons, and not to knock anybody's hustle. I do believe in having at least 7 to 8 streams of income. So, have a start in an HR company, whether you're doing recruitment, whether you're doing resume writing, whether you're doing coaching, whether you're doing trainings, whatever it is, staffing, whatever it is that you decide, whatever floats your boat. There's enough out here for everyone. Listen, it's a very lucrative field. Even working in the field is very lucrative. So I feel like there's enough out here for everyone. And not only that, the reality is that you cannot run a business by yourself. You cannot. You cannot be a solopreneur expecting to be, the next big company. You're just not going to be able to do so. So I share all that to say, if you feel like, oh my gosh, this person is already doing it, and you're looking at this, you have like the spirit of comparison, and that is stopping you. Please don't let that stop you, because it's not about how you started, but it's about how you finish. That very person that you are comparing yourself to, and this is something I can't talk about anything I haven't been through. I was doing that as well. I was comparing myself. Mind you, the person wasn't really in HR, but they were just doing business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're out here, they killing it, right? They killing it, killing it. And let me tell you, they were going through a lot of things behind the scenes. And here I am thinking that like, oh my gosh, man, if I could only do what they do, but not realizing what they had to go through in order to do what they did, right? So the spirit of comparison, kill it, right? Kill it. Kill it. Kill all of those excuses. Whatever it is that is stopping you from starting your HR consulting business, your HR company, your staffing company, your resume writing company, your coaching company, whatever it is, make sure you kill that excuse. You cannot walk into 2020 with that. In fact, that's why I'm giving this, I'm speaking on this topic now, because if you are not planning in December, at least, at the very least, for your 2020, then it's not going to be a resolution. It's not going to be a reality. It's not. It's just not. You have to plan for it now. You have to plan for it now, right? So, what is stopping you? Whatever is stopping you. Matter of fact, comment below. Let me know what's stopping you. What are the biggest things that have been stopping you from starting your HR consulting business? I don't care what part of the world you're in. I know I have people watching in London. Hey, London. Hey, UK. Have people watching us from Sierra Leone, my home nation. Have people watching us from all over the US, Canada, France. So whatever it is, let me know what is stopping you. What is stopping you? What is stopping you? All right. Also, second thing, I want to know, what is your why? Again, I'll work with, a lot of people, right? But who I'm called to, especially in this space and helping other HR professionals, I am called to HR professionals that desire, that love HR, that want to be in HR, and they want to use what they know because they're an expert in it already. They want to use what they know, and they want to figure out how to now monetize what they know in HR. That is what I am. That's what I'm good at, right? So it's kind of hard for me to help someone that's not already kind of like, hey, I love HR. I'm an expert in HR. I have other classes for that. So if you want to kind of know more about different fields of HR, definitely reach out to me. I have classes, content on that alone. But in terms of starting your own HR company, it's really more ideal for those that are already like, hey, boom, I'm an HR expert. I just might not know which branch I want to start a business in. That's another story, right? But again, I'm called to those that are HR experts that are like, hey, I know this thing. I love this thing. I love this whole world of HR. I love what we can do. I love the impact that we can make. Listen, if that's you, I'm your girl, right? Um, but I'm also called to people that are also called, right? If you're called to this, then yeah, that's who I talk to. So what is your why? Why are you supposed to start an HR consulting company? Think about it. And again, there's no right or wrong answer, but why? Why are you supposed to do this thing? Is there something else that you could do? What else would you do if you didn't do this, right? Why? For me, I know that this is a calling. There's so many things. I won't even bore you with the stories, but people's lives have been changed, including my own. People's lives have been saved, literally. So many things, right? So I know I've been called to this. So what is your reason for starting your HR consulting company? And again, there's no right or wrong answer. It doesn't have to be that deep. You be like, hey, listen, I've been working for my company I've been working in HR now for 15 years, and I'm tired of working for someone else because I'm tired of putting in a leave slip. It could be, so whatever. What is your why? Like, oh, you know what? I'm getting ready to retire. And I think if this is something I could do to supplement my retirement income, right? You could be the person that's like, hey, you know what? I just really always dreamed of being an entrepreneur. And I know something about HR, and I really think I would be good in this space. Whatever it is, what's your why? You need to know what that why is, right? The third thing is well, we kind of talked about this, but you need to identify so you've already identified. We talked about what's holding you back. What are your excuses? Then the third thing what we want to do is identify what are the things that you could do to eliminate those excuses. Because what you would find is that you're like, I can't do this because, and then there's like a simple solution and to fixing it. So whatever it is that is your excuse, I now need you to put that much energy, if not more, into figuring out a solution for that particular excuse. Okay. I'm looking at my list here, guys. Then you need to, number 4, you need to figure out when do you really want to start. So one of the things I know, because I am a bomb.com accountability coach, I'm telling you all, I really am. But one of the things that I know is that, at least for me, if I don't put a deadline to it, it's definitely going to take longer than it needs to. It's going to take way longer than it needs to. So if you have not set a date as to when you're starting your HR company, make sure you do that right away. Start like, hey, listen, I have been sitting on this thing for the last 3 years. I've been sitting on this thing for the last 6 months. I've been sitting on this thing for the last year, right? And the biggest mistake is that we take life for granted as if we're going to have another, like we know, like, oh, I don't have to do it now because I have another year to complete it. You don't know that. Can I just be honest about that? You don't know that. So pray about the timing that you're supposed to do this, right? Now, I do know that sometimes you get ideas for your future, but just check in, make sure like, hey, when am I really trying to accomplish this, right? Because that's key. If you're not trying to accomplish this till 2025, then maybe you're still in research mode. But if you are the person watching, which I believe that some of you will be, they're like, hey, listen, I can't sit on this any longer, Hennither. I need to launch my HR consulting company in 2020. I need to flourish in my company. You might already have a company, but you're supposed to be going to, another level. You're like, hey, listen, I need to make sure that this is done in 2020. If that is you, you need to set a date. By what date are you going to do that very next thing that you're supposed to do? Right? Set a date. Set a date. And then the last tip, number 5, is get some help. So one of the things that changed my business dramatically, I knew HR, but I didn't know business. And I'm still learning like social media. I'm still learning so many different types of things. So what you don't know, you get help in. That's what makes you successful. Now, again, I'm not knocking the hustle of, those that's like trying to learn everything themselves. I was definitely that person, but I recognize, especially now being a mother and a wife, the mother of 4 children and a wife, I'm a ministry leader, um, lead a different, professional associations, and I just, I have a life outside of work as well. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is that I can't do everything. And I recognize that all the successful businesses that I admired, the reality is that they all had staff, they all had help, they all collaborated, they did something. So I am encouraging you that if you are stuck on any area of starting and launching your HR consulting company, you want to make sure that you get some help. Get some help. Reach out to someone else that might know some things. If you are like, hey, I need a strategy, reach out to me. Look in the description box below for our information. You can email us at services@career-image.com. The team will review that. They'll put you in touch with me. If you just like, hey, I need an HR strategy session, by all means, let's schedule a time to chat. Our strategy sessions are usually about 90 minutes or so. It can last up to 2 hours. We do it through Zoom. And we literally we map it out for you. We're like, hey, literally everything that you need to do, we will map out in that strategy session. You might also be like, hey, you know what? I need more than strategy. I kind of need someone to walk me through. I need someone to kind of hold my hand, and nothing wrong with that as well. If that is you, also reach out to our team, services@career-image.com. We are literally about to release. I don't want to say the date on this video just in case the date might change. We're working on some logistics, printing logistics for you all. But we are starting a program. Our next program, we've done this is our third time doing it, so we're excited about it. A program where we literally walk you through everything that you need to do, but it's not just about what you need to do. We literally take away all of the guesswork and all of the research that you need to research, because we give you every document that you need to have in place. We give you every document and every process, every template that you need to have in place for you to launch and continue to grow your HR consulting business. So that is starting in January 2020, but we have to close out registration in December 2020. So that way, again, we can finalize the printing logistics, all of that stuff. So we already have some people interested. If that is you, make sure you reach out to us, services@career-image.com, so we can get you that information so you can get started rocking and rolling. Again, if you're interested in a strategy session, just let the team know, hey, we'd like to know more about a strategy session. If you're just confused on what you really need, you can schedule a chat with me, no problem. We're talking about 15 minutes or less to figure out which way you need to go. Okay. So again, if you are called to HR, if you are called to start your own HR company, it's time. It's just time. There's so much opportunity right now, and you just if you're called to it, you don't want to miss out on the window. Now, of course, you all know, if you've watched my videos, you know that I believe that what is for you regardless. But the reality is that there is a window of time that momentum truly just kind of like it goes and flows. You can make mistakes and still make money, right? Because there's just a window of opportunity. And I do believe that we are in that window of opportunity. So again, if that is you, make sure you go back through the steps that I shared, of what you need to do for your 2020. And if you need an accountability coach, if you need someone to walk you through it, reach out to me, and let's see what we could do. Maybe we can get you a strategy session. Maybe we can enroll you into our 6-week program starting in January. But whatever it is, do something. Do something. Do it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, especially if you've been called to it. All right, everyone. Until next time, do not forget to command your day.